So, I guess we can talk about the concept of the roleplay union. Do you know what the concept of the roleplay union is?
Well, together many role players and
Your mic keeps cutting out. You gotta move closer to the mic. Don't be afraid about being too loud. I already lowered your volume.
okay. Well, I have seen many role players from different servers on our Discord, and that's great. It gives a community vibe.
Sorry, could you repeat
I
that
like
and
it.
stay at a constant distance from the microphone? I know I'm asking for a lot, but it's like it's very difficult to hear you otherwise.
I I was saying I saw that there is many different role players from different servers, all gathered in your Discord.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Like it gives a community vibe to this whole thing to Sam play. It's just better. It's friendly. So I like it.
So, what do you think? What should we do with this community? What should be the next step?
Well, you should start maybe promoting Sam more and more for new people to come to play.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because right now Samp is not being promoted at all, right?
No.
And that's a very big point. I want to emphasize. I want to thank you, Theodora, for making that point because the and that's the biggest reason why I even created this community to begin with. Right now, if a new player comes into, for example, LSRP, what will they do to check what are they allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do, right? Imagine you actually you never been in LSRP, right?
Yes.
Okay, so imagine you want to join LSRP. Just imagine, okay? I don't want to tell you to do that, but just imagine you want to
Yeah.
join LSRP. You want to check.
No, listen. Let me cut you there. With LSRP, there is bunch of other issues like management issues and so on. I don't like the server itself is famous, but people just don't want to play on it, me included, because it has many issues. Like
I'm trying to
people
address those
unfriendly
issues. That's what I'm trying
admins.
to do right now. I'm trying to give
Well,
an example.
I don't even honestly, I don't even care about LSRP because when we were trying to fix it and give ideas and give different opinions, no one cared about it. So
Yes, I'm
it's
trying to
just not.
drive that point to the people watching right now. So
Well,
please, I'm
maybe
just asking you to play
maybe
along. Okay, imagine you're a player who wants to join LSRP. You're a new player, you know nothing about LSRP. Now, imagine that you want to find out what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. Okay? That's a reasonable thing to find out in the community. What would you look at? What do you
well
look at to find out what
general
you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do?
the general
You
discussion
look at general discussion to find out what
Yeah,
you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do?
yeah, because I don't like reading rules or official and stuff.
That's weird. So, okay, well, you go into the general discussion and then what are you looking at? I mean, I can do it right now. I
For
can even look at
example,
the
I don't
verified
like.
discussion. They separated general and verified discussion, and you have to
Oh, I
apply a
don't.
second time to join the verified discussion. So,
I
okay,
don't know about the very.
verified discussion is just a second layer to general discussion. That's all it is. But you have to
Oh,
apply to it because they pretty much admit that general discussion is just useless and pointless. That's what they're saying with verified discussions. But
well, that's wrong. That's wrong opinion. Why would you need to apply to be able to state your opinion?
I agree with
That's
you.
just unfriendly. This is just all these communities are just gaming communities. You see, for example, you yourself, okay, you're sort of famous, you're on YouTube, but still, you're just a gamer. And some admins, they
That's
just
yeah,
game too.
absolutely. That's all I want. I want to just play. I want to just play. I want to make a character and fucking play. But I don't even know, and I can't know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. Okay, there are some things that I know. I know like some blatant things, but there's a huge what they call a gray area of things that you're either allowed to do or not allowed to do, depending on the admin that looks at you. And you judge just by the way you appear. And they don't care to find out the evidence. They don't care to investigate. They don't care even if you bring the evidence to them. They just don't care. And that's the thing that I'm trying to drive home. If you're a
Yeah,
new player, typically you will look at the rules, right?
yeah,
But the admins that
absolutely.
came
But
into the ex staff members and current staff members that came into this interview talking about LSLP, they made it clear that A player is not just expected to look at the rules, they're also expected to look at all of the update notices. All of the notices that the admin made talking about, oh, now Clio is not allowed, when they have not put it in the rules section. They neglected to put it in the rules section, and then they dare punish people who spend hours, tens, hundreds, and thousands, even some, hours of playtime. Can you believe it?
Well, that's why I mentioned like in the beginning, yeah, like I mentioned my opinion, that kind of things, and also the general atmosphere, like community-wise atmosphere, is again, in my opinion, better on Red County Roleplay because, for example, the rules section is like uh, it's with more explanations. And
Yeah,
with
it's
the
the rules are
general
descriptive. That's one of the
atmosphere, you
things you
can
mentioned. Sorry, I keep
so
interrupting you. I'm sorry. I gotta calm down.
no problem. And the general atmosphere, like you can adapt easier when you're a new player, and the helpers. I just mentioned this thing on Red Country Roleplay. The helpers are pretty helpful,
So what you're
It's-
saying? Okay, so what you're saying is generally,
But I'm just a player on Red Country Roleplay. Like I'm not. I don't know anyone from like the owners or anything.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just a
yeah.
player.
We had actually
It
had
fits me more. It fits me better.
we had the manager of Red County Roleplay, Tommy B himself, come on this interview, and he
Oh,
actually talked about how even he experienced situation like that where an admin because he didn't like what I think he would talk about like having his own talk show in Red County Roleplay, and an admin did not like it, told him to stop again. Like there was no rule that he was breaking. The admin just told him, "Okay, stop," and he didn't stop. So the admin punished him. Oh wait, did he, or was that okay? I don't remember what happened. I don't remember if Tommy stopped or not. But I definitely remember that there was an admin that did not like his interview and made him stop. Honestly, stuff like that, I see it, I hear it all the time. It kills the point of having a roleplay community. It kills it. There's no point. It's a waste of time if you're gonna use your admin powers to go out of character and stop certain people from performing certain actions in roleplay when they're not breaking any rules, in my opinion. Do we agree on that?
well, there's different. Yeah, for sure. Different people. I haven't heard
No,
about
no, no. I'm
that.
not saying all admins are corrupt. No, by no means. I'm not saying all admins are corrupt. Most
Yeah.
admins are genuinely helpful people. I've had fantastic interactions with some admins, and I just feel like when the bad admins are not held accountable, it even hurts the good admins because the bad admins, they represent the whole administration community. And what's funny is that the LSPD in LSRP, they recognize that if an officer, one officer, acts poorly and represents the department poorly, they will fire that officer. I know this because, my character got run over by a cop in LSRP. I made an internal affairs complaint. That officer got fired. And my character got $20,000 restitution in character wise. But the thing is, this same principle applies out of character because it's still a government agency. It's the same thing. Administrators are enforcing rules, and they should worry about the way they are perceived, because sometimes they act hostile, and they don't get punished for acting hostile. At least not in my experience. They don't get punished for PMing you. Oh, why did you do this? The accusation immediately, like the implied. Does this ever happen to you? Does an admin PM you and go, "Oh, why did you DM him? Why did you power get a confession immediately out of you?" It's so ridiculous. Why don't they just say, "Hey, I'm an admin. I want to investigate. I want to find out what happened. Tell me your side of the story." Why don't they just do that? Wouldn't that be nicer for everybody? If they had
Well,
guidelines which they're supposed to follow, it would be easier for them to find out what happened. It would be more effective and more efficient, and it would be nicer to players. The thing that you mentioned, that we should be nicer to new players, so that new players come in, and it would be just better for everybody, in my opinion. Well, I guess my opinion is not really relevant. But like from what
yeah,
you told, you are a genuine role player who plays on Red County
yeah.
Roleplay, and what you're concerned about
Sometimes.
is making sure that you can just play the game without being punished unreasonably, right?
yeah, I never had any negative experiences on Red County Roleplay. That's why I mentioned it as pretty friendly and, the better
I've
server.
definitely had
But
less bad
yeah,
experience on Red County Roleplay.
that's that's good. Yeah.
But again, that's subjective, and we
I just
shouldn't.
wanna
Yeah.
say, I would just say this thing, and then I have to go because
Yeah, I've had to take in a
yeah,
new
I have some.
person as well. But yeah,
Yeah, then
okay.
it's better someone more experienced to talk. But I would say this, maybe sometimes because you are basically a YouTuber and sometimes showcase too much things. I mean that's great, that's fun, but some other people, like just the casual players, something happens, it will be a sin, maybe even some um, non-intentional rule breaking. But in your case, I mean, people see on it, can and then
You
no
keep
one else
cutting out.
can
I can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. Well, let me just cut it short. I was just saying, in your case, because you're a YouTuber, it can be more popular what you do on a server, and basically, it cannot go unnoticed. You know what I mean? So sometimes a casual player can do something, and it's fine because no one's seen it. But in your case, many people. I mean, how many subscribers you have? 11,000 subscribers, right?
No, it's 9.5.
Yeah. Well, you
But
have many
that's
subscribers,
not the point though. I
and
get what
but
we're trying to
even
say
then,
is people are gonna come in here and try to be mean, right?
well, you can experience all kind of different situations, basically
Mm,
positive, negative. So
definitely.
basically, it's more popular, your content, and then if it happens to another player, it can go unnoticed. But if it happens to you, everyone notices. So yeah. Anyways, thank you for giving me this opportunity to
Thank
talk
you for
here.
coming.
To
Definitely appreciate
I
it.
just want to say to a girl gamer, because us girl gamers are kinda disregarded, unfortunately.
I can imagine. Jesus.
We can talk about this on some other
Yeah,
episode of
I would love to
Userone
talk
also
about that as
because
well.
yeah, girl gamers, it's harder, all this attention, and well, you know how it is. You're a YouTuber, so yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and I
anyways,
have female
I would
characters.
like to talk. Yeah, female characters too, but especially when you're actually a girl, oh silly. Anyways, I'm glad to that I spoke here.
Mm,
Unfortunately, I have to go do something now,
yeah,
but
you take care. Thank you for coming.
I
I
will
think
watch
we'll
your
learn.
episode. Thanks.
People want to not be bothered by administration unless it's necessary. Thank you for teaching us this lesson. Thank you for telling us that. Have a good day.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Okay. So for this next individual.